Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching if you are here. And I am doing a real quick, just get ready with me. I'm going to have a early dinner with some of my roommates and meeting my new roommate, which I'm excited for next fall semester for when I go off to my internship. And it's going to be my final year of my undergrad, which I can't believe because it feels like just the other day I went back to college and now I'm going to be wrapping up my undergrad pretty shortly. I mean, a little bit less than 1 year or 1 year to go. I'm telling myself a little less than 1 year. But I already put my base on, so I did the Fit Me foundation in 110, which I believe is porcelain. And then I did a little bit of the Makeup Revolution IRL concealer under my eyes. I am recovering from a cold and I am pretty much 100% better, except for the fact that I do have a deviated septum. I think it's on my right side, is what the doctor had told me. So what happens is I can breathe perfectly fine through my left nostril, but my right nostril is just like, I cannot breathe. And I already get out of breath really easily, even though I work out a lot. So it's just very annoying because I think I also have POTS, but that's a story for another day. I'm rambling now. Anyway, I did my base and then I did a little bit of some cream contour bronzer. And I just did a little bit on the forehead because I want to make my forehead look a little smaller. I have a big forehead. I have a big head. So, that's where I get all my smarts from, you know. And I'm staring out my window in a paranoid manner because I hear people screaming outside and it really freaks me out. I don't like when people scream. It's very annoying and makes me feel scared. So anyway, I am just blending this out and I put the cream contour above the cheekbone. I put this a little bit on the forehead, jawline. Sometimes I will do a little bit on my nose just to give me some color because I am very pale and I do not go in the sun. I don't tan. I also do not do spray tans, although I would like to try a spray tan. I haven't done one in a couple of years, but the one time that I did get one, I did like it. I tend to just leave myself pale. I leave myself where I'm at, I do get sun, but not a whole bunch. Anyway, doing the ColourPop liquid blushes. I love these. I pretty much use these like every day. This one's in Sweet Treat, and I'm going to dab a little bit. I have a bit of a breakout. That's nothing new for me. I've been transitioning off of birth control, the combination pill the past couple months. So it's been a little bit of a trial and error, just learning how to control my skin and figure out where I'm at. But it's been going pretty well for the most part. And then I'm just dabbing this in. I'm keeping the blush pretty high for this. And I'm not doing a super, super heavy look. I just want something, nice enough for me to go out, feel nice. Yeah. And I think I forgot to mention that I did moisturizer, hyaluronic acid, snail mucin. I did a little bit of the e.l.f., I think it's called Super Grip Primer. And that's also got hyaluronic acid in it too. So, and I did put on sunscreen because I do use a lot of acids on my skin. I also use salicylic acid on my skin as well. So I'm just super prone to getting sunburnt just in general, but especially with all the acids that I'm using on my skin. So, you can see how fair I am and how sensitive my skin is just by looking. And I recently bleached my eyebrows when I lifted my hair back to platinum. If anybody would be interested or has watched this far into this video, thank you, by the way, if you have. But if you are interested, I am a hairdresser, so I really enjoy doing hair content and stuff like that. I actually was dark red about a month ago, and I lifted my hair back up to this blonde color while still pretty much keeping a decent, adequate health to my hair. If anybody is interested as to how I did that or wants to go blonde back from red, I can do a video on that. Just let me know. You could comment and say, hey, what products did you use? Can you make a video? on everything you did, and I can explain what I did to get to where I'm at. It took a couple rounds, but anyway, now getting distracted. I'm using the ColourPop Pink Pony liquid highlighter, and I'm going in and highlighting my cheekbones, tip of my nose, inner corner. I also like to put a little bit of this on my lips, and I like to mix it with like a gloss or a lipstick because it really provides a really beautiful reflect. And going back to the hair, yeah, my hair was actually pretty long, and it was red, and I was really inspired by Chapel Roan. I did do a very long like red look, and I had extensions in and everything. But around Christmas time, like winter break, when I was like off from school and everything, I was thinking to myself, I'm starting to feel a little bit gloomy with the red hair because it always had some form of blonde. And as you could see, the back of my head is still red. So I pretty much just did a full bleach out to the front, and then I left sort of the back part of my head a little bit of like a copper and just left it like that. And I'm going to let that grow out because I'm not going to bleach all the back too, because it's going to just provide more damage and be even more difficult. And I already had to chop off about 4.5 inches. I didn't have to chop off that much, but just because of the fact that I know if I let it go and start off on a fresh note, it's going to grow back pretty easily. As long as you eat like a good amount of protein, you're getting exercise, sunlight, keeping your vitamin D levels up and your iron up, especially for women, your hair will grow back. Even if you diet or mess up the color, if you focus on your internal health, which is very important. And I am a hairdresser. I am not a medical professional. This is not medical advice whatsoever. I just have a lot of knowledge about medicine from research and reading and being a student, and things of that nature. So I can do a whole video about how I transform my hair from that like basically dark red back to blonde. Not saying my hair is in perfect health or anything like that. It's definitely not, and there's definitely deviations in there. I mean, I bleached it out myself, which was difficult, but I wanted it done. So, and I am putting a little bit of setting powder under my eyes and around my nose, just everywhere. I put a little bit over the lip too because I want to lock in that color and have it mattified and not have it move around while I'm eating and out for the day and things like that. I can't get over the fact that I still sound like crap after like it's been 4 days. So super annoying, but yeah. And this is sort of how I would do my makeup, like more so for every day rather than some sort of like special look that I would be doing just to film. But yeah. And then I am just powdering, going back over And what I was saying about bleaching my eyebrows, the reason that I had done that was I knew I was going back really light, so I wanted to lighten them up just a little bit, but I also like kind of a clear base when I do my makeup to fill them in whatever color that I want. So yeah, and then I took a sienna lip liner pencil, and then I just did kind of like the surrounding area. And in the middle, I did a lip stain by e.l.f. in Plum, just so that if everything else moves, at least that is there. So, yeah. And I don't know what the fuck I'm looking for. Okay, now I'm going in and filling in my brows in finally. I'm just using a light to medium brown shade and filling them in. Since I do feel sick, I feel like having bleached eyebrows while I'm sick and the color's already drained out of my face and I'm just not feeling or looking the best that I typically do. I really don't want to walk around with bleached eyebrows right now. So, yeah. I think I even went in with a little bit of a dark brown shade for my brows. Anyway, moving on to the eyeliner. I'm just taking this charcoal color and filling in the waterline all the way. And I'm going to do an inner corner cat eye with this with a angled brush. And I'm going to stamp it in and create a line in the inner corner. I just go ahead and stamp in once or twice. I don't go over it a lot of times. I just quickly draw a line and then I move on. So I just draw the line in the inner corner and I tilt my head when I do that. So if I'm trying to do the right eye, I go ahead and I tilt my head to the left, and that just helps me to see, because sometimes our eyes are not perfectly aligned and one eye can be a little bit different than the other. Like, I notice it is easier for me to get the left eye, and the right eye always smudges or like water, so I try to get it as exact as I can get it. And then I just went ahead and did a real quick like feline flick to the outside of the eye and was kind of measuring it up and checking it out and stuff like that, and then stamping the other eye. I really wish I could breathe out of my right nostril. It's so annoying. Hate this feeling. So yeah, and then I will go back over it once both eyes are done, and I will fill in the inner corner, the right upper waterline, and then I'm not going to be pushing back down into what I already created. I'm only pushing up. So I'm taking a little bit of extra product, pushing into the upper waterline and pushing up. And so that's what I'm doing right there, to kind of get a little bit darker, more of a significant look. And then I take a little bit of the same shade that I used for the eyeliner, and then I'm filling in my eyebrows with that same shade, because I kind of want it to be like cohesive. Okay, what am I doing next? Girl, come on. We're waiting for you. You're slow. You're moving slow. You're moving slow. Okay, then I am taking this like burnt light brown, I would say, and I'm putting this all over my lid and in the crease, creating a little bit of a shadow, brightening effect over my eye. And I'm just like blending a couple different light to burnt oranges together. I'm just basically taking a bunch of different browns and I'm just blending them all together. Continuing to pack that on while I'm still having some of my baking powder sit on there. It looks like some of it has dissipated a bit. Okay, and you can see the eyes are sort of like the main look here. Not really much. So the face or the lips, really the eyes are kind of like the stronger point of this look. And I like to take a bigger brush and just go through. Usually like a blush brush, and I like to go through, and I also like to blend my eyeshadow out with that a little bit too, just so that there's no like lines. Because this is, remember, a like daily look. This is not anything where I want any like harsh creases or anything of that sort. And then I'm taking a little bit of this Wet n Wild bronzer. I think this is in Sunset Boulevard or Sunset Strip. Yeah, it's Sunset Strip actually. And I am adding a little bit of warmth, brightening up my face a little bit, you know, because I'm super pale. And I'm just blending that out. Don't know why I did that dorky thumbs up, but hey. Now I'm taking my favorite blush in the whole world. If I could, well, for right now, it's my favorite blush in the whole world. If I could marry this blush, I probably would. As you can see, I really am in love with this blush. Like, wow. I'm just going to pose with it. Yeah. Okay, we get it. You like it. Okay. So I'm taking this pink blush from ColourPop. And I'm going to make some really weird faces and apply it. So yeah, that's what I do. I make the strangest faces I can make. And then I just put that on my cheekbone, my chin, nose, everywhere. And I got that like little trick I learned from Shelby Ann. She's one of my favorite makeup artists on YouTube. I think she's on TikTok too, but I don't really use TikTok as much. I don't really like TikTok. But I am just putting the blush a little bit under my eyes too. Just adding a brightening effect. And this blush is somewhat pigmented, but you do have to layer it to get it to like really pop. So, okay. Next thing. I think I'm going back over and powdering some spots that need to be fixed. And need a little bit more brightening. Okay. Okay, and so while those spots kind of sit like that, I'm going to be using this Makeup Revolution in Just My Type. Apparently, I really like this too because I'm super excited to use this. And I'm going to put that on the tip of my nose. So usually I use an Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter, but I have been using the same one for a couple of years now. And I feel like it's still okay to use. It hasn't caused any problems with me, like, still continuing to use it. But I pretty much have hit pan on all of the highlighting shades, and it's like a highlighting and bronzing palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I don't really want to buy another one because I'm a broke college student, so this Makeup Revolution works just as well. So I'm using that. I'm putting that over where I use the Pink Pony by ColourPop. And if you layer the liquid and powder products, it will last. So, because I did a similar look to this yesterday for my first day of classes, and I think I had the makeup on for almost 12 hours and it stayed. So, but I definitely used a little bit more product when I did that look. I'm using a little bit less product for this look, because I was sitting outside. And I just didn't want to get my pores all clogged up by sitting outside with multiple layers of makeup on, so that's why I did a little bit less with this. And then I'm taking the Plum e.l.f. lip stain, and I'm going back over that again, just so that lasts. And what else did I do? I think I went back over my brows a little bit more. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend that out. I'm just blending everything back out, making sure I didn't like miss any like lines and stuff like that. Okay, and that was it. Thank you for watching. This was just a really quick, like, somewhat natural glam look. pretty easy, pretty simple, just to do an early dinner with the girls. And this is what it looks like from the side angle. And I probably should clean that mirror because that is really gross. But yeah, that's what the highlighter looked like. I think this Pink Pony highlighter is so pretty from ColourPop, especially when you add the Makeup Revolution over it. I'm obsessed with it. And thank you for watching. See you soon.